warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to everyone, and a very good day to everyone, wherever you are. So, has been a short break, right, for all of you, but life has go on, and welcome back to UPM. But unfortunately, we should take precaution, especially in regards to producing in regards to conducting online learning. So for ECH 3905, which is Chemical Engineering 3 Laboratory, so the first week we will have the virtual briefing and the virtual safety briefing. And the virtual safety briefing will be conducted in a separate link, which will be given afterwards. So in the meantime, let me introduce myself. So I bet that you already know me from the previous class, and I am Dr. Muhammad Haikal bin Ismail. That is my email address, and this is my YouTube channel. And welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Maybe you can get a lot of updates from this link or from this YouTube. And another lecturer is Dr. Muhammad Zahir Sri Tahir for Group 2, and under his name is the email address. Okay, so let's move on to the briefing. But in the meantime, make sure uh, you are aware about the class, whereby the class will be organized. For example, for my session, it will be on Monday, 2 until 5, and Dr. Zahir is on Tuesday. Okay, for the learning outcomes, basically there are three learning outcomes for the course. The first one is to explain the principle of chemical reaction and the effect of parameter change on chemical reaction, which is C4, a cognitive. So a cognitive, for you should by now, because you're already in third year. For the assessment on cognitive, usually it will be measured based on the writing. No, sorry, based on the written form. For example, the exam, a test, and so on, or maybe the report. And the second one is to manipulate process parameters and measure the response of the process. So this one falls under psychomotor 5, which is quite high. This one will be measured through the ability for you to conduct or to um, manipulate the parameters for certain experiment that we will identify later on. And the last one is to analyze experimental data in relation to theory or principles as a group and communicates effectively to reduce laboratory reports. So this one also C4, cognitive 4, communication skills and leadership skills. Okay, so the list of experiment in this course is, the first one is CSTR, continuous stirred tank reactor. You must be very familiar with CSTR from your thermodynamics and your in operations, and also from your energy balance. And the second one is drying apparatus. Maybe you have learned this in operation, right? And the same goes to filtration. Next one is hydrodynamics, and if I'm not mistaken, you have demonstrated this hydrodynamics in your previous laboratory sessions. And next one is electrochemical process, and last one is fixed bed reactor. Okay, so this is very important because you have to know who are responsible for each experiment. Okay, because if you go through the lab manual that has been that you can find from your Putra Blast. So the experiment 1 and experiment 2 falls under CSTR, which will be demonstrated by Mr. Ismail Abdullah, which I denote as equipment 1. And evaporator and drying apparatus, experiment number 5 and 6. So this one will be conducted through CSL, because we will conduct it through virtual. and I denote it as number 2. And filtration apparatus, number 7, will be demonstrated by Puan Maslinda in which falls under equipment 3. And hydrodynamics for experiment number 8 and 10 under Mr. Johan Musidi. And equipment number 4, and electrochemical process, experiment number 9 under Mr. Norisham in environmental lab, equipment 5, and fixed bed reactor number 11 and 12 under Mr. Adli Nazri in process lab in for equipment 6. Okay, don't forget, this is really important, right? Okay, as I have mentioned you in the WhatsApp group, you have to record your attendance, which is every Monday and Tuesday. Don't forget, okay? For my class, if you don't record your attendance, I will just give you no attendance. If you don't provide the sufficient or strong reason or clarification for the reason of not being able to record the attendance. So make sure you record your attendance a total of 14 times. Okay, so this is the timetable. Okay, if you refer to this timetable, right, so now we are in week one, which is a virtual safety briefing and introduction. So you basically you have 6 groups. You have 6 groups whereby there are 6 equipment, and equipment 3 and 5 will be allocated after week 8 because equipment 3 and 5 is open-ended, and there will be presentation for on week 13. Okay, next one is course evaluation. Okay, as something different to offer for this course, we will introduce test 1, which will address LO1 and PO1 and C4 cognitive 4. The marks are 15 marks. And next one is weekly observation. After this, I will explain in details what are the things to expect from this assessment or evaluations. So weekly observation is 10 marks, open-ended experiment 10 marks, weekly report writing 40 marks, presentation open-ended 10 marks, video report 10 marks. Okay, sorry, my mistake, because actually I've discussed with Dr. Zahir and we have revised this into one, into presentation only. Sorry, so the presentation will be 20 marks. Okay. Alright, so pre-evaluation will be 5 marks. Alright, next one. Test 1. The test will be conducted to evaluate the understanding of chemical engineering courses that you have learned previously in the laboratory sessions. So you should expect an open-ended type of test to describe or to translate your understanding of chemical engineering courses in regards to this laboratory. So the test will be conducted before week 7, most probably on weeks 5 or 6, and the format will be open-ended and any plagiarism will not be strictly tolerated. And you have to submit the test soft copy to Petrablast, and the test will only be for 1 hour. No extension of time. Alright. Okay, next one is weekly observation, which is LO2 and PO4 and P3 psychomotor 3, 10%. So each group is required to consult the assistant engineer in the preparation of the weekly experiment and make sure each proof of consultation with AE is provided, and the weekly report must be supported by AE with signature before the final submission, and the observation will be done by the AE, and make sure each consultation and experimental proof, whether in the form of email, picture or WhatsApp conservation, conversation is prepared and signed by the AE in the form of report. So you have to prepare a report for every laboratory session, which provide and which is equipped with your uh, consultation as an experimental proof during the experiment in the form of report. And the report, there is no proper format as long as you provide whatever proof that can evaluate your ability to conduct the experiment, because this is psychomotor. And the next one is, sorry, this is should be open-ended experiment. Okay, so open-ended experiment also, because this is different format, right? Since you have to come up with your own manipulation of the parameters and whatsoever, what so on. And so the progress, effort, and dedication during the project execution of filtration and thermochemical will be evaluated by AE. And once again, make sure each consultation experimental proof is prepared and signed by the AE in the form of report. So it could be in the form of, the easiest way is to prepare it in the form of report. Actually, it can be any form, but it should be in a proper documentation, so that it will facilitate and make things more easier for both of us to evaluate your psychomotor. Okay, next one is weekly report writing. Because this is 40%, so read the manual before each class and make sure you put on the lab coat, the covered shoes, and attire and appropriate safety tools. And the brief presentation to the assistant engineer prior each experiment is necessary. If I found that any group that does not uh, provide or prepare the brief presentation to the AE before the experiment, you should get ready for the previous mark, which is weekly observation. All right, please take note of that. And no hard copy is allowed, as usual. And long report is for week 4 and week 8, and the rest are short reports. I mean to say, sorry, long report is for week 4. Mm, sorry, equipment. I think 1. The rest are short reports. Okay. So pardon me for this some revision. Long report is for equipment 1, and the rest are short reports. Sorry. Pardon me. Long report is for open-ended experiment. The rest are short reports. And short report must be submitted 24 hours after the experiment, and long report must be submitted 1 week after the experiment. No bargaining. All right, and the soft copy of short and long report must be sent to Putra Blast, and the grading rubric for full report, short report, and presentation can be found on lab manual. Okay, next one is presentation. So for open-ended experiment, each group must prepare final presentation, and the presentation must be less than 10 minutes, and whereby the presentation will be conducted on week 13. Okay, so this one actually you can compile both of them. The the video. Okay, this one you can just disregard it. Okay, for peer evaluation, each team member must evaluate the peers in the same team for each experiment. And the evaluation must be done professionally, whereby the evaluation will be treated in strict confidential, and the evaluation will be conducted in the Google link. So I will give you the Google link in the WhatsApp group. Okay, any question? Okay, so without further ado, I would like to say thank you for your kind attention to this briefing. And first and foremost, I would like to, I hope that you can take further precaution, especially because this is the first semester that everyone has been allowed to enter university and the faculty. So make sure that you follow all the SOPs, the standard operating procedures that has been outlined by the university and the faculty. And if let's say there are things that are not clear, you can just consult them. You can just ask them, maybe ask the for example, the assistant engineer, or maybe you can ask me, or you can ask Dr. Zahir, what are the things that you are not clear. For example, especially in regards to conducting the experiment for ECH 3905 in particular. Okay, so okay, for this course also, because we have to just some gentle reminder that we have revised the structure already because we want to make sure that we comply to the SOPs given, and we want to make sure that we can reduce the number of people at the same time at the same place just to practice more efficient social distancing. All right, and please make sure that you follow the SOPs, especially the safety precaution in the laboratory, wear the proper safety gear, the lab coat, and the covered shoes. Make sure you don't get too close to each other, and please don't touch, no touching to each other, and avoid touching. What do I mean by that? Okay, so I think that's all. All right. So anything, you can just text me or Dr. Zahir personally, or maybe in the group. Much better in the group because so that everyone can get the information across much easier. Because just in case I missed those points to address to all of you. Okay. So I wish you all the best, and I hope that you can do your best in this semester because I believe that you have quite a lot of laboratory right, for this session because actually you should have this laboratory no sorry you should have the MC ECH 3903 the previous semester but it has been removed, it has been adjusted to this semester, so you should have more laboratory session for this semester. So I hope that you will be fine, and we are doing our best to make sure that you don't have like really you don't get overloaded with the uh, workload like too much, which maybe it can affect you. Okay, so whatever it is, just communicate with us. We are willing to help. All right. Okay. Thank you. All the best. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a nice day.